All right, here we are for the common artifacts from Iconic Masters. Starting off with a doozy. Darksteel Axe, 1 mana for an equipment, indestructible. Equipped creature gets +2/+0, and the equip cost is 2.
Yeah.
Gosh, is Bone Splitter is back?
Yeah, so I mean, we are not equipped 2 is a lot more, is a fair amount, and not augmenting toughness is real, because you can't make attacks that you wouldn't really otherwise be able to make. Although, the existence of this card might make the defender deck, like, lose a lot.
Yeah, that's true. That's really interesting.
Because, like, now, like, the defender deck's lit bunch of 0-4s against, like, the brick 2-2s. Well, not anymore. So, of note, even if your deck doesn't want to play Darksteel Axe, having access to it out of the board may be important.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to start pretty high on this card and give it a B.
A B?
Maybe B minus, but, like, I feel like this is going to go in a lot of your decks.
Okay. So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Try and erase Ixalan from your mind. Forget about how good Pirate's Cutlass is. Just forget for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, you've never seen or played around Pirate's Cutlass. Would you still give this card a B?
So this card was an uncommon in Scars of Mirrodin, and yes, there were artifact synergies in that set. So that's why that card was very good. But that card was slam first pickable in Scars of Mirrodin.
Yes. I mean, like, this card really impacts the board, right? Being able to turn smaller threats into bigger things and just hit hard. So I'm guessing this card's going to be very good. My only issue with it is, cards that are colorless that go in any deck and impact the board because of combat oriented. I feel like because of a Masters set, it may just diminish the impact that this has because it doesn't combine with all of your cards as well as it usually does.
There isn't a token strategy, which does make this card a little worse. But it triggers prowess. It makes your prowess creatures better.
Yeah, I would start with this I'm going to start with it at a B minus, but I would not be surprised if it is like a slam dunk first pick card because it's colorless and very impactful.
That all sounds about right. I'll go B minus for you. But we're both pretty happy to first pick this card. It sounds like. What's next?
Oh wow, I missed Guardian Idol, which is a 2 mana. Wow, this card's so good at common.
Oh my god, I didn't see that.
Christ. I didn't see this in the spoiler either. My article that goes up on SCG tomorrow talks about there being 3 2-mana mana rocks, and there are 4.
4 at common. 4 at common.
Jesus. Yeah, I mean that just means that.
Wow.
Like every 1 in 3 packs should just have one.
Yeah.
Which means 8 2-mana mana rocks are going to be open. 8, on average, there should be over 8 2-mana mana rocks opened at a table. That really changes how this format may work, right? This also may fix the entire problem that we mentioned with green as 2-mana plays because these are 2-mana plays.
And it fixes the dragon deck probably because you can play your Furnace Whelps on 3 and you can play your Noxious Dragons on 5.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's relevant. I still think the 6-mana cards get a little worse.
Sure.
But 5 with 4 of these at common, the 5 and 4-mana cards get substantially better.
Yeah.
Now I knew there were 3, but 4 is a very different number.
It's a lot. 4 is one more than 3.
Guardian Idol is great. I think I'd be happy to first pick this card.
Oh yeah.
It's a creature and a mana rock. Sign me up. I think B plus.
Wow, B plus. So are you gonna just go B plus? Well, probably save for Mannequin. Are you gonna go B plus for the other 2?
No. The reason I'm giving this one a B plus is because it can become a 2/2. I think that's really relevant.
Cool. All right. Then I'm gonna trust you on this one and go B plus. What do you think about Ye Olde Mannequin? The 2-mana 1/1 taps for mana. The card's good. I think in this set I would give it a B minus. It's gonna go in every non-aggressive deck and be good. But it's just significantly worse than the other 3 because it can't tap the turn you cast it. You can't do turn 3. You can't do a cool thing where you play Mind Stone and then tap Mind Stone your 3rd land for something.
Yep. I mean, you can't do that with Guardian Idol either. But but still random things that punish X1s don't kill it, and this gets enough of a downgrade from where I'm going to put most of the mana rocks at from that are Bs to a B minus.
All right, Mind Stone is next. I love this card so much. 2 mana for an artifact that can tap to add a generic mana, and it can pay 1 to tap and sacrifice it to draw a card.
Yeah, card's great.
Ramps you when you need it, and then when you need to draw action, it can turn into a card. I think this is a B.
Yeah, I mean, I could see a world where it's a B plus as well, but for now it's a B. Also, like, evaluating from a pack one, pick one, like, I would not be surprised if this is if there's a world where I'm supposed to take this over Doomblade, right? Because it's 100% to make my deck. Well, I guess if I end up in red white, I probably wouldn't play it. But like, there are versions of blue red and white blue that are prowess based where I would still play this card. So if it's like 100% to make my deck and be one of the more important cards in my deck, like, is it supposed to be in the A range? I don't think so, because it's not so impactful, but I'm going to be taking it very highly.
Yeah.
I take it less highly in pack 2 because I should know what I'm doing, but
right. Yeah, I think it's still very, very solid. Moon Glove Extract is next. 3 mana for an artifact. You can sacrifice it to deal 2 damage to target creature or player.
Yeah.
This is pretty meh. This is like a D. D plus.
I'd just give it a D.
Great. Next up is Ruined Servitor. 2 mana for a 2/2 construct. When it dies, each player draws a card.
If you need a bear, you'll play it. If you don't, you won't.
Yeah, again, I think very, very filler D for Ruined Servitor. Now, this is interesting. So we have Scion of Ugin at common now. What does this card do?
It is a 4/4 flying dragon spirit for 6 mana. Not in any color, which is relevant. So you can, like a 6 mana 4/4 flyer isn't embarrassing, especially given the amount of ramp. And it's a dragon, which seems to be a relevant type. I mean, I still don't like this card very much.
No.
Because it just feels like your top end can be so much better in this format that you don't need to spend a pick on this. Like, while it's a colorless card, colorless cards that end up in your sideboard are still going to end up in your sideboard. Right. I think that this card's going to end up in your sideboard a fair amount of the time, just because there are so many better, powerful things to be doing in this format.
Yeah, I would give this like a D plus.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Star Compass last, 2 mana, enters the battlefield tapped. Oh, so Mind Stone is the only one that can.
Oh,
you know what? I'm going B plus on Mind Stone.
On Mind Stone, I think that's fair. I think I would not be surprised. And I'm still going to give Star Compass a B. I still think it's better than Mannequin. It can tap for colors.
That is very relevant. So it can give you double colors of lands you control that you could produce. So now it only doubles the color of basic lands, so you can't be getting bonuses off of your, what are they called? Your Karoo lands, your bounce lands. But still, solid ramp. Helps fix double colors. What do we got at uncommon here? Ooh.
Take a look.
Bubbling Cauldron, baby. Here's our sacrifice outlet. 2 mana for an artifact. Sack a creature to gain 4 life, or sack Festering Newt. Each opponent loses 4 life. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. So also relevant that this gains 4 life.
It gains 4 life?
Yeah.
So like that plus that enchantment is just sacrifice a creature, make a 4/4 flyer.
Yeah.
Maybe this is playable.
I think this card's gonna be it's build around playable, but I'm looking at this black green Splash Angelica Chord deck. This is my new fave deck. I would give this probably a build around D plus, build around C minus.
Yeah, I'm never gonna see this card
because I'm first picking it all the time. Yeah. That's fair. All right.
So Dragonloft Idol is a 4 mana artifact creature. As long as you control a dragon, it gets +1/+1, has flying and trample, and is a 3/3. I mean, this is a 4/4 flying trample is real good. But
all the dragon things are 4 mana.
Yeah.
You can't just have a deck full of 4 mana things. I guess if the rest of your deck is Mind Stones, you can.
I mean, if you play this on 3 via ramp, and a dragon on 4. I mean, it's going to be hard to lose that game, I feel.
Yeah.
And with the abundance of ramp, maybe you can, but it strikes me as if you draft a deck like that, then you could just not draw your ramp and you'll lose.
Yep.
Or you could draw only your ramp and you'll lose. I'm not going to be high on this card, but
no, me either.
it can be very good. I would give it a. I think I'm gonna start it with like a build around C plus.
Build around C plus. I'm just gonna go straight D on this card. I do not like this card.
Okay.
Colorless Monument is 3 mana for an artifact, taps for black or red, and you can pay 4 black red to make it a 4/4 black and red dragon artifact creature with flying until end of turn.
I mean, this card is good. Like it definitely is good if you're trying to like ramp out big things, because like once you're done ramping big things, it's a 4/4 flyer, right?
Yeah. Maybe this dragon deck really does like needs a lot of these like mana rampers, and it can be good.
That's my issue. Is that like, so my problem with ramp decks in general are very powerful, even considering outside of limited, inside of limited and outside of limited, but like outside of limited, ramp decks are often very powerful. When you move them to limited, you can still build a very powerful ramp deck. The problem with that is that ramp decks have 2 halves, right? And if you draw the wrong mix, then that's not good. But what makes that worse is mulliganing is more detrimental in limited than it is in constructed, because less of your cards bring you back from a mulligan. And if you have to assemble these pieces or else you really do nothing, then you have to mulligan more.
Interesting. Yeah.
So like drafting this red-black dragons deck with like 8 2 and 3 mana ramp spells and then like a bunch of 5 and 6 mana dragons, you're just gonna like mulligan substantially more than you usually would.
Yeah.
And so like I'm still not that excited about it, although I do think there is a density that does support it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. I think Colorless Monument is then going to be just like significantly worse than a lot of the 2 mana.
Yes, I think all the 3 mana ones are going to be substantially worse. So I think I'd give this card like a C.
Yeah, I go C- on this card. Mind Crank.
Fun.
2 mana. Whenever an opponent loses life, that player puts that many cards from the top of his or her library into his or graveyard. We did it. Mill deck. No, this card is terrible.
This card's
right?
bad. Yeah. Right. So I mean, think about it this way. We previously talked about how you have to mill 20-25 cards to win the game, right? Well, you have to deal. If you think about it that way, it kind of puts into perspective why this card is not very good.
No, not good at all. This is an F. Can we just go straight F here? I'm going F.
Okay. I mean, like I'm not opposed.
All right.
It's a good sideboard card, maybe against the black-white deck.
Yeah, right? Maybe. Yeah, because
they also have things that pay life.
Yeah. That's fair. Mishra's Bauble. It's a 0 mana artifact. Sacrifice it. Look at the top card of target player's library. Draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep.
I would play this in my prowess decks, but that's it.
Yeah. This is also like
expensive.
It's also expensive, but this is like makes your deck 39 cards, right?
Yes. I think that has some value, but like in general, I feel like let's say you're in a top deck war, it's not just a cantrip.
Nope, it's not. Much worse than a cantrip.
Because you like need to draw spells at that point. And like when you're making your mulligan decision, you don't know what you're gonna get. Like it's a fine card, but it's a card that people are gonna play way more than they should.
Yeah. That's how I feel about like this is I think worse than Opt. And
yes, exactly.
People play Opt a lot more than like everyone's always like, oh, just take Opt. I'm like, why not just play good cards in my deck instead?
Opt is filler. This is filler minus, but the 0 mana spell that replaces itself could have a lot of value in this set.
So it's really just I'm really just looking to play this in a
I'm really excited to go Mountain, Monastery, Swiftspear, and 5 baubles.
What a sicko. I was not expecting the 5 baubles. I was expecting the 1 bauble. The 5 really threw me.
We have dreams, okay?
That's good. All right, so Bauble gets a what?
I would give Bauble a D.
D, yeah. What about Palladium Mirror?
I mean, this card's real powerful.
Yeah.
Jumping from 3 to 6. I mean, we saw all those 6 drops that we were like, well, it's 6 mana. You just like play this on 3 and play your uncommon blue 5/6 flyer. The more we go through the amount of ramp, the more I think that maybe like the the 5 in a blue 4/5 prowess flyer is just better.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Like if you're putting that in your deck, you're probably casting it on turn 5 or even sometimes 4.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think this card is great. I will be very happy to first pick it. So like I think the card's power level is like already B level and it's colorless.
Yeah, I don't see. I'm a little lower on this card because I don't want my 3-mana ramp spell to get got by removal, and this really can. Like,
sure, but that's still a 1-for-1, right? Like,
yeah, but it's so detrimental to your game plan, probably.
that probably, yeah. I mean, like, while it is like, sure, you would rather have what's that card called? It's literally this, but it's an artifact, not creature. It's a great cube card.
Power Stone.
Worn Power Stone.
Yeah.
Right. Worn Power Stone would be probably an A.
Yes, I agree.
Okay. So how much do you bump it down for it being creature?
I guess not 2 full letter grades, like
right.
A letter grade. I give it a B.
Right. So like
this is worse. I'm taking Mind Stone over this probably. I
think that's fair. Although I think maybe later, depending on what I know I need, I would take this over Mind Stone.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think I'm fine with a B. I would not be surprised if this ends up higher.
Yeah, that's fair. Pristine Talisman is next. 3-mana artifact gets you a generic mana and you gain a life.
Yeah, it's hard to tell how many ramp cards you can play and how good ramp is going to be. This card, like in a white-black deck that's trying to gain life that also has 6-drops and whatnot, this card will be good.
Yeah.
My guess is this card's just going to be solid, but I'm not going to prioritize it. I think it's slightly better than the Kolaghan's Monument, maybe not better.
This is a rarity upshift, right?
Yeah, I mean, the card, so here's an interesting way to think about it. Okay, so remember, White Honden was a very, very good card, right?
What was that?
It's a 4-mana enchantment that says at the beginning of your upkeep you gain 2 life. Okay. Obviously, it had more text, like if you had more shrines, you gain more life. Yes. But it was a playable and it was a fine, good card on itself. Mm-hmm. So this is 3 mana, colorless. It ramps you, but it gains you half the life. Now, obviously, 1 life and 2 life is a very large difference, but the life really does matter. Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to start this on C+.
Yeah, that seems like a good spot for it. I've not seen this next card before.
I haven't either.
These must be commander cards. Sandstorm Oracle is 7 mana for a 4/4 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, you choose an opponent. Basically, if they have more cards than you, you draw cards up to the number of cards they have. That's not very good.
Well, it's not. But if you want to think about it this way, if you're playing your 7 mana card, okay, and you have more cards in your hand than the opponent, I guess they could be an aggressive deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this card's not great. 7 mana's like a lot.
D plus maybe.
I would start with a D plus. I think I'm going to give it a little bit of benefit of a doubt. Maybe it plays well.
Yeah, I mean, there's the dream scenario of just going like ramp card. This, I guess. But hasn't your opponent also gone like spell? Like you're probably not drawing cards often with this.
No.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Thran Dynamo is absurd.
I'm going to give this card an A. It's probably not an A, but I'm going to give it an A.
Yeah.
And I'm not even going to draft it that highly. It doesn't, like, I don't, as I've said before, I'm not a huge fan of the ramp decks. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, the fact that you can use the mana immediately, like, if you play this on 4, as long as you're not dying the next turn, you're double spelling or playing something huge. And if you play it after, you can still play it and the other spell in your hand. Which is pretty huge. That like it doesn't always lose tempo. Like if you just play this on 5, you could play this plus a 4-drop.
Yeah, the card is really, really good.
If you're not in an aggressive deck, this may be one of the best cards in your deck consistently. And given that it's colorless, I think I want to put it at an A, especially the number of ramp payoff.
It feels like then it's sort of secretly a green card, but it doesn't have to be.
No, I mean I think it's just like there are 0 colors that only go in aggressive decks, right? Like white pairs with black and green maybe to build like a more mid-range later game deck, right? The only decks that there's the only deck that seems like you cannot build a late game deck out of it is red white.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe there's not a blue red home for Thran Dynamo. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
There might be a blue red control deck though where it's good.
Yeah, for sure. With Doorkeeper and Vent Sentinels. All right, next up is Trepanation Blade, 3 mana for an equipment, equip cost of 2. When an equipped creature attacks, defending player reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal a land card. They mill those cards, and the creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn for each card revealed this way. It's a lot of text for a card that is bad.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, remember that mill deck that we were talking about, though? That's like not mill, kill them, but kill them with damage?
Yeah. The thing I don't like about this is that you don't know what the power boost is going to be until you're already attacking with the creature.
Sure.
It's really tough to like. I mean, yeah, sure. It's like slap it on a Shriekgeist and then you're just doing it. But I just don't think you're racing.
I think it's too expensive. If it was like 2 mana to play and 2 mana to equip, or even like 1 mana to equip, like just one difference in the total cost to play and equip, I think the card maybe would be good in that home, but it's hard to tell if that's even a thing. So I'm going to start with like build around D.
Yeah, build around D sounds fine to me. All right, let's see what rares do we got here. I love that Ancestral Vision is colorless here. So we've got Ether Vial, 1 mana artifact. You can put a counter on it at the start of your turn if you want, and you can tap it to put a creature card with converted mana cost equal to the number of charge counters on it from your hand onto the battlefield.
You should not play this card.
Yeah, this is not.
This is one of those cards that like I rarely give Fs. I'm going to give this one an F.
Yep, this card is quite bad. Ancestral Vision we'll just put this in our blue cards. Ancestral Vision says only suspend 4 for a blue, and it's Ancestral Recall. When it comes off suspend, target player draws 3 cards. But what do you think about this card in Limited?
It's worse than you think it is. It is always worse than you think it is. The suspend 4 is a huge cost. Mm-hmm. If you suspend this card on 1, you're probably going to win the game, though. That's like a thing to note, is that when you get your 5th turn, you get to like for 0 mana just draw 3 cards.
Yeah.
You end up with such a variety of options and for the rest of the game. The problem is when you don't have this in your opening hand. So the card's still good, but when you don't have it in your opening hand, you draw it on like turn 6 and you're like, okay, well, as long as the game goes until turn 10 or whatever, or if you're drawing it on turn 6, if it goes until turn 10.
That's a lot to ask of a card.
Yeah. And so I still like this card and want it in my blue decks.
Yeah.
But it's not the bomb that I think people think it is. I think it's going to be like a B-.
B- is exactly where I have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's Oblivion Stone do?
Oblivion Stone is a 3 mana artifact that says tap 4 mana, tap it, put a fate counter on target permanent, 5 mana, sack it, and destroy each non-land permanent without a fate counter on it, then remove all fate counters.
Of note, we have not, other than Austere Command, we haven't seen any sweepers.
No.
Or I guess Anger of the Gods, but like that's situational. So this is your sweeper.
Yeah, and I mean it's an okay one. I mean, so you can play around it, right? When you but also at the same time, if you're playing around it, you're giving your opponent time to put fate permanents on. Like they could just put fate permanent, a fate counter on Oblivion. Oh, it's sacrifice. Never mind.
Yeah.
They can, it makes the card better when it wraths. I mean, the card's very powerful and it goes in any deck. I'm going to assume that this is in the A range to start.
Yeah, that's where I think.
Just especially because it's colorless.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't end up being that great.
It's really clunky in Cube.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm trying to. But this is less powerful than Cube, and Cube has access to way more board wipes than this set seems like it has. I think this is. It's also like a great place to dump mana when you're in agreement.
I'm gonna go A-.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go A, but it could be way worse. I wouldn't be surprised if this falls to low B range.
Serum Powder is super sweet here. It's really interesting. So it's 3 mana artifact that just taps for a colorless mana. Anytime you could mulligan, you can exile your hand and then draw. You exile all the cards from your hand and draw that many cards.
Yeah.
So so it essentially lets you get a free mulligan. Yeah. There is a tax to exiling your hand because if you're in a deck that requires certain pieces and those pieces are there. But the thing that I had just said about why ramp decks have more of a problem in limited is that you have to mulligan more because you have cards that like you like keeping a hand like you kind of have to keep these hands that are like like 2-drop some lands and then some ramp spells, and then if you draw the wrong half of your deck, you draw more ramp spells, you just sort of lose. And it's like you don't even get to play Magic. Yeah. So I don't think Serum Powder is great by any means, but if your deck wants a mana rock, your deck also is likely going to need to mulligan more, which makes it better than you would think it is.
All that said, where would you land on it letter-wise?
C.
C?
I think so.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Any mythics? No colorless mythics. Alrighty. Let's check out the multicolor cycle.
Okay.
So first up, we've got Azorius Charm. This is white-blue for an instant. You choose one. Creatures you control gain lifelink until end of turn. Draw a card, or put target attacking or blocking creature on top of its owner's library.
I love this card.
This card's really good.
It's very, very good.
So it's like in a prowess deck, it can just trigger prowess, replace itself. Trigger prowess, gain you some life.
Are we grading this just so I know for the multicolor? Are we grading this assuming that we're already blue-white, or are we grading this assuming pack one, pick one?
I would grade this assuming blue-white.
Okay.
But I think grade assuming blue-white. I kind of want to take into consideration, is it a pull into something?
Oh yeah, we'll mention that, but, sure. Yeah. I think this is a pull into blue-white, and I think this is very I think if I'm blue-white, this is like a B+ level card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's so flexible. It's
really flexible. Hey, if it's just if you don't have creatures and your opponent doesn't have creatures, draw a card.
Yeah,
and that
the 2-mana run aground is really backbreaking.
It's backbreaking. It really is. Yeah.
I was about to say B, and then as I was just remembering casting that in Return to Ravnica, I'm going B+.
B+. I do as well. All right, we have Bladewing Bladewing the Risen, which is 3 black, red for a legendary zombie dragon. It's a 4/4 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, you may return a dragon permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield, and it has the text red, black dragon creatures you control get +1/+1 until the end of the turn.
No, just dragon creatures. So if your opponent's got dragons, they're getting a boost too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is a dragon payoff.
If you cast this card and untap, do you win because you have 2 dragons and you can pay 8 mana to give them +4/+4?
Probably. It's so mana intensive and.
I mean, but with all of these mana ramp cards, if you play a 4 or 5 mana dragon, right, and your goal is okay, let's trade with this and then play this Bladewing, bring it back, untap, win the game.
Yeah.
This seems like it is the proper kind of payoff for playing dragons.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's hard to tell if it's a pull because it's not the kind of deck that I want to be drafting. It doesn't feel like it is,
That's what I think. This is just this feels like we're full Timmy here.
Right, because if you're not bringing a dragon permanent card, if you don't have multiple dragons in your deck, this card is bad.
If you don't have a dragon it's from your graveyard, right?
Right, but you could have a dragon on the battlefield, and then being able to pump both of them is relevant because dragons tend to be large flyers.
I think this is too Clunk City. I would just go I don't know, build around C.
Yeah, what I'll say is if you're in the red-black dragon deck, you're probably going to play it, and it can be very good, but more often than not, it's not going to be great. I think build around C is an interesting way to put it.
Because it feels like there's even still better things to do that are less mana intensive and less expensive.
It's going to play like a B some of the time, but more of the time it's going to play like a D.
Yeah. Blizzard Spectre is next. 2 blue-black for a 2/3 Spectre with flying. When it deals combat damage to a player, you choose one. That player returns a permanent he or she controls to its owner's hand. Or that player discards a card.
This card is so good.
This is ridiculous. What is this card? I've never seen this before.
Could you the insane thing is if you have 2 on the battlefield and your opponent is hellbent, you just get to destroy target permanent.
No, not target permanent. They control which permanent they bounce.
Yeah, but you then choose one to bounce, one discard a card. If they're hellbent, it
Right,
destroys.
but it's so like target player sacrifices a permanent is what it reads.
Right. Oh,
yeah,
you're right.
Because you don't get to target what permanent.
Worse. Okay,
yeah.
So, well, that makes it substantially worse because they can just like late game they are hellbent. They just keep returning and playing a land.
Well, you choose which of the things they do, but if you choose you sacrifice a permanent, they it's not sacrifice.
No, it's not. That's what I was saying. I thought it was return. Thought it was return target permanent.
So late game it's not great, but most of the time you're picking the second mode anyway. Blizzard Spectre is garbage.
Yeah, this is a card that I'm not a huge fan of anymore.
No, it's not. It's not garbage.
No, I thought it was return target permanent. I could just like choose relevant creature or land early in the game. I think that giving your opponent the choice makes that effect just so much worse. And the card, okay, evaluate it without that effect because it is strictly better than 4 mana for a 2/3 flyer that when it deals combat damage, make them discard a card, right? Because all it does is give you one more option.
Right, it's better than Abyssal Spectre.
Right? And that card is good, but it's not insane.
Isn't Abyssal Spectre like a B minus?
Was Abyssal Spectre at random?
It's 2 black, 2/3. They discard a card.
So that card is solid against non-aggro decks.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
So I think I would give this a C+.
I'm gonna go B minus. I think this is good. Is less mana intensive? I mean,
depends on the format.
2 black versus 2 blue-black. If you're in a blue-black deck, I don't think that's much more mana intensive. All right, we got an interesting counter payoff here in green-white.
Yeah, so it's like 3 mana 3/3 is not going to be good in this format. And 3 mana 3/3 draw a card is pretty good. That card's very good. I don't think this actually pulls me into green-white though.
No, I don't think this pulls you into green-white, but I think this is a payoff if you are in a green-white counters deck.
Yes, I would agree with that.
So it's probably lands it as a C+.
I think yes, I agree.
Yeah. Corpsejack Menace, rarity downshift. My goodness.
This is an uncommon.
Yeah. Corpsejack Menace is 2 black-green for a 4/4, so 4 mana 4/4. If one or more counters will be put on a creature you control, twice that many counters. So it's what's it called? It's the snake.
Yeah, but it's not. It's twice.
It's twice. It's twice. Okay. It's better. Okay, that's gross. This card's awesome.
Really, really good.
Yeah.
This is a gold card that I feel like I would be willing to first pick.
Yes. So does that make it like a B+? Does that make it an A-?
I think it's a B+.
B+. Okay.
I'm assuming that I can build around this well enough.
That's sick that because first of all, the Golgari decks were like clunkier in the Return to Ravnica block, but also this was a rare. So you could get multiple of these and consistently have it in play.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's pretty spicy.
Yeah. So since it's twice, 2 of them is 4 times.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Is there a 1 mana thing that puts counters on things? So you can go this on 4, something on it again on 5, and then a 1 mana thing?
I don't think so. I'm trying to remember.
I guess you could play 2-drop the green curse, this put 2 counters, and then this and put 4 counters on both of your guys.
Get out of here. That's gross.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on B+ there.
Yeah, that's nice. What is Electrolyze? Everyone knows Electrolyze, right?
Electrolyze is great. It's 1 blue-red for an instant, deals 2 damage divided as you choose to any targets, and then you draw a card. Card's great. It's the kind of card that I overrate because I love these cards, but I think it's like a B+, maybe a B, because we saw some relevant X ones, and there were a lot of 2 toughness things, but
it's mostly just gonna 2-for-1 probably.
Yeah.
But that's still probably...
that's still quite good.
that gives that. I'm going B+ for Electrolyze. Yep. Jungle Barrier, 2 green-blue, 2/6 with the Defender. Hello, enters the battlefield, draw a card. It's just lets you know what green-blue is trying to do. In this format.
But it's worse than the green 1 green 2/5, right?
Yep.
So, I think this is
a
so
C+.
Yeah, I would give it a C+. The issue is like I don't find this a pull into blue green, which is, I mean, maybe it is, but not.
I think the nice thing about, I think more so it's going to be like Chronicle of Heroes. Like, if green blue is what you're supposed to be, and you're going to get this card, like,
yes,
which is nice because no one else should want Jungle Barrier. No one else should want Chronicler of Heroes. You should be seeing those late.
Oh, yep. All right, now we have Lightning Helix, which is white-red for an instant, deals 3 damage to target creature or player, and you gain 3 life. If I'm red-white, this is probably an A.
Yeah. Like, this is just so strong.
I mean, so good.
I'm not ready to go A for this, but I would go B+.
Yeah, I think it's so. I would grade it if I'm assuming I'm already red-white. We're going into pack 3.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think this is probably better than a lot of rares I could open.
It doesn't make it a bomb though. Like, we're being nitpicky here.
Right, but we gave Swords to Plowshares an A, right?
Uh-huh.
And like, I guess that handles everything.
This is worse than Swords.
Sure. So I would give it an A- then.
A-,
but I think it being multicolored, like pack 1 pick 1, I'm not that high on it. But if I'm assuming I'm red-white, okay.
Yeah. Viscopa Guildmage, white-black for a 2/2. Pay 1 white-black to give a creature lifelink, or pay 1 white-black to say whenever you gain life this turn, each opponent loses that much life.
Oh, they put the wrong enchantment.
Wait, so this is the same thing as
yes, it does the same thing. It's not the other one that would go infinite with the enchantment.
Come on, Magic.
Right? Because the other one is whenever you gain life, it deals damage, right?
Right.
The other one's whenever you deal damage, you gain life.
This is still pretty solid.
It's still great. It's a 2-mana 2/2 with 2 great abilities.
B-?
I think I'd be on B.
B. That's fair. Sweet. What's next?
Right.
Oh,
there's also that uncommon.
We got to do Roshin Meanderer.
Yep.
Which is 3 and hybrid red-green for a 4/4 legendary creature giant shaman. Tap, add 4 generic mana to your mana pool, and spend it only to cast spells with X. I'm excited about this red-green X deck.
Yeah, I don't think I'm supposed to take this highly, but it definitely makes a specific deck tick.
Yeah.
And it has some of the most busted starts in the format.
Feels like you got to give a build-around grade to this.
Yeah, I think it's like a build-around B+.
Yeah, I like that a lot. All right, what do we got at rare? You got to go soon, don't you?
Yeah, I have to go soon, but I should be able to get through all these rares.
All right, Blood Baron of Viscopa, 3 white-black for a 4/4 lifelink, pro-white, pro-black. As long as you have 30 more life, and an opponent has 10 or less life, it's a 10/10 and has flying.
A+.
A+. Card is absurd. Next.
Fireman Angel, 3 red, white. Wow, that's a lot of text. It's got it's a 4/3.
It's not very good text. I'm going to warn you.
It's a 4/3 flyer with first strike. At the beginning of your upkeep, if it's in your graveyard or on the battlefield, you may gain 1 life. 6 red, white. Return it from the graveyard to the battlefield. Only activate this during your upkeep. What?
Yeah, it's a lot of text for like a D.
Yeah, I don't draft this card that way. Like I mean, sure.
And this is just like not what red-white is trying to do.
Maybe there's like a multicolored.
No, stop it. Don't put ideas in people's head.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We have. Yeah.
It's no good. I think it's
just a D. A D is fine.
All right. Glimpse the Unthinkable.
What is this? It is a sorcery for blue-black, and it says target player puts the top 10 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. 10's a lot.
10's a lot.
Like a lot. If you cast this twice, you pretty much win.
I also think like this is a pull into the mill deck for me.
I think that there aren't it's not just a black-blue deck, but if you're in the mill deck, whichever version, right, the one that mills them out, or the one that's playing Jace's Phantasms and trying to use mill as value, regardless, this card's going to be great.
Yeah.
Right? And that's assuming that the mill deck is good. So if I'm assuming the mill deck is good, and I'm in the mill deck, this is going to be probably the best card in my deck.
Yep.
But, like, B?
I'm willing to go, like, build around B+.
Yeah.
Hypersonic Dragon is absurd. 3 blue-red for a 4/4. With flying and haste, you may cast sorcery spells as though they had flash.
I mean, even without the text,
No, just 4/4 flying haste.
Without the text, 4/4 flying haste, I'd probably give an A minus.
Mm-hmm.
And with the text, I don't know if that makes it an A, but it could.
I think A minus is still just fine. Like, this card is very powerful.
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting. What is Knight of the Reliquary doing here?
I mean, it's a reprint that was needed, right? It's
I guess so.
1 green white for a 2/2 that gets +1/+1 for each land card in your graveyard. You can tap it, sacrifice a forest or plane, search your library for any land card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. So, like, of note, if you have a bounce land, it does kind of draw you a card.
Yeah.
Right? Like, for each bounce land in your deck, sort of. But 3 mana for a 2/2 that, like, kind of turtles around a little bit. Because, like, sure, I guess if I have 1 bounce land, it's my 3-drop. I then sack my land, get my bounce land, draw, like, put the other land in my hand, and now this is a 3/3.
But yeah, this is a good card. Like,
it's a solid card
on its own, and Seth Lars and Chad is pointing out that there's some landfall triggers to be had in the format.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the second land. So I don't think that I would first pick this card. I don't even know if it's a pull into green white, but I think I would play it in green white. Although if I had no bounce lands and no like if I had just all basic lands and no landfall cards, I just wouldn't put it in my deck.
It feels like you're more likely to want to like splash this in a green ramp deck than you are to want to play this in what seems like green white beats.
I mean, why are we splashing it though?
Because it ramps.
For what reason? No, you have to sacrifice the land. It doesn't ramp.
Yeah, it does, because you can tap the land before you sacrifice it.
Sure, it ramps the turn that you have it, but it doesn't ramp.
It doesn't ramp you permanently, but it does. It's like a mana dork, basically. Like,
yeah, I guess
that thins your deck and gets bigger. Like, it's got incidental value.
It's good. I mean, this card is good, and you'll play it in a lot of your decks. I think I'd give it a B minus.
Yeah, B minus sounds perfectly strong for me. What is this card? Malfigor? 2 black, red for a 6/6 legendary demon dragon. Flying. When it enters the battlefield, you discard your hand. Each opponent sacrifices a creature for each card discarded this way?
Wow.
What? That can be very powerful.
Yeah, but it also can be a 6 mana 6/6 flyer, which is also good. Yeah. Right? Now, if your opponent has, if you have a grip and your opponent has no creatures, it kind of sucks.
Right, because why you can't cast this.
So, I mean, I'm going to assume that this card is very, very good.
Ugh.
Especially
there is nothing about this black-red deck that excites me.
Yeah, so it's possible the black-red deck is great. I just feel like it has it has 2 different kinds of cards it has to play. They're both good, but like it doesn't. I have no interest in playing it. I think unless someone figures it out in a way that like makes it very good, I'm probably just not going to draft it.
Yeah. What do you give this?
I mean, I think I'd give it a B plus.
Yeah, B. I'm gonna go B on Malfigor. All right, what's next?
Savageborn Hydra, which is another X spell, X red and green for a 0/0 with double strike. It enters with X counters, and you can pay 1 in either a green or a red to put a +1/+1 counter on it. Activate this ability only anytime you can cast a sorcery. I mean, this card's powerful.
This card's really powerful, especially with what looks like red-green is trying to do.
Yeah, you could play. This is another one of those ones that you could like
power out
pretty huge early on and then cast +7/+7 trample, and that is GG's.
Yeah, as if the Savageborn Hydra needed to be enlarged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this card's probably like a B plus.
Yep.
Maybe an A minus, but probably a B plus.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go A minus. But it's whatever. It's powerful. You're not taking many cards over it. Speaking of, Simic Skyswaller, 5 green blue, 6/6 with fun text, Flying Trample Shroud.
This card is annoying. This card is an A.
This is an A. Yeah. It's a ridiculous card.
Also, given the amount of ramp in the set, it's just like, what do you do when your opponent plays this on 5? Cry?
Yeah. You file for reimbursement. Spiritmonger is next. 3 black green for a 6/6 beast. When it deals damage to a creature, you put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it has black for regenerate or green to make it become the color of your choice. That text seems only relevant. Nope, not even relevant against
You were about to say
Doomblade.
Doomblade? Yeah.
It's already black.
It is relevant if you changed it first. There's protection in the set, actually, so it is relevant.
Oh, yeah. Okay. This card's an A.
Yeah, probably. I could see a world where it's an A. No, it's 5 mana, not 6 mana. Yeah, it's just an A.
It's just an A. This card is a bomb. And Supreme Verdict.
We do have another
We do have a sweeper, and a good one at that. Okay.
Sweeper, yeah, can't be countered, but
is white blue want a sweeper? I mean, you're gonna play it obviously, but like,
I think that there are versions of white, blue, and blue because blue seemed to. It had a lot of tempo cards, but it also had some really, really good controlling cards.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about master sets like Cube is you usually can do multiple things, right?
Yeah.
And so while I think that blue-white is more often than not going to be a tempo-based prowess deck, you can probably draft a blue-white deck that can make use of Supreme Verdict.
Mm-hmm. It's probably just an A, right?
Assuming I want this in my deck, it is an A.
Yeah.
But I think that I'm not going to I don't think I really want to first pick it because I think that I'm more inclined to draft the white blue aggressive decks.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I don't think there are any no mythics at multicolor, so now we're just gonna go check out the lands.
Yep. And then that'll be perfect timing.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
So Evolving Wilds at common, I'm thinking with landfall floating around, and just depending on how you want to fix, but there's some powerful multicolored cards that you might want to splash around for. Powerful removal spells to splash around for.
Yeah, it also makes your mana more consistent. If you're not in an aggressive deck, like if your deck is slow and like you have enough things to be doing, the tap land is sometimes worth it. Yeah. Just for consistency. So I think this card is just like C plus.
I think C plus as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Now there are formats where this card ends up being extremely good.
Yes.
But I like landfall formats, but I don't think there's enough landfall at common for that to be the case.
I agree. Radiant Fountain enters the battlefield. You gain 2, and then it adds a generic mana. So obviously this is only going in a life gain deck.
I mean, I could see playing like if I somehow draft like a mono blue control deck, I'd play 4, 5. But yeah, that doesn't seem likely. I think that more like you should just not pick this card. You'll get it if you need it, and you'll know when you need it.
Yeah.
But a colorless land is a big tax.
It's mostly like a D.
Yeah.
And Shimmering Grotto. So where are you at with these kind of lands?
I mean, I don't like them. Yeah. I think that like I will still take them at the end of the pack in case I get like a super bomb and that's like also not that expensive.
But generally, if you're trying to splash like if like say you're blue black, you're splashing Swords to Plowshares, you just want to run a Plains instead.
I actually disagree. That really? I disagree with. So specifically when you're splashing cheap cards, I think that it's better than that because more often than not, when you're playing a card like Swords to Plowshares,
you're not playing it on turn 1.
Yeah, you're not playing it on turn 1, so you can like set it up so that the mana is less taxing. So like Swords to Plowshares is still a great card for 2 mana, whereas like if you're thinking about what's a good example, like Spirit Monger we gave an A, right? But if that card was 6 mana, it would be like a B, right? And that's a very big difference. Yes. And you like splashing A's, but I don't want to really splash cards that are B's all that often. You know. And so, or Spirit Monger may not be the best example there, but like my point is that when you're splashing cards that aren't expensive, like if you want to think about it in Ixalan, right? Yeah. Since we all have a lot of context for that, Raging Swordtooth, right? That card is phenomenal, but I want to splash that off of a mountain because it's very different for 5 mana and 6 mana.
Right. Yeah, that's fair.
So I think I'm not going to take this highly. I think it's a D, but I will play it when I need to. Yeah. But more often than not, you don't need to.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so now uncommon, we've got the full cycle of these bounce lands. So for Azorius Chancery, you enters the battlefield tapped, you bounce a land you control to its owner's hand, and it can tap for white-blue. So we got one of these for each color combo.
Yeah, I mean these. If you've never played with these, they look what's the word, innocuous. They look fine, but they're spectacular.
These cards are amazing. These are Bs.
Yeah, I think all of them are Bs. I mean, it's card advantage on a land. Yep. Essentially, one of the things that I said to someone, which I thought was interesting. Now, would you like if there was like these cards are kind of like a tap land in both of your colors, right? Assuming if you're blue white, the card like Azorius Chancery is a Azorius Guild Gate that you can't play on turn 1, but when it enters the battlefield, you draw a card.
Yep.
Right, which is amazing. Now it actually
you draw a land, but
sure you draw a land. But so the interesting thing about it is that like it creates the scenario of like you would play both. You would play it if that was just a plains, right? If it was just a white land that entered tapped. So you play these off color. Like if you Azorius Chancery makes your deck 70% of the time because you'll play it in just blue decks and just white decks.
Exactly right. You don't need to have it be able to utilize it for both colors. You can just think of it as like, well, taps are blue and a colorless. Like, yeah, it's still really good.
And to be honest, I don't think it's crazy to play one of these if you are 0 of the colors. Like, I don't think you should that much of the time, but I would play the card like some percentage of the time I would play the card tap land that's colorless that ETB like draws me a land.
Yeah.
So they're great. I'd give them all Bs.
Are really great. All right, and at the rare level, we've got a weird smattering of things.
This is a cycle. The cycle was from Future Sight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's all of the Future Sight ones.
Oh, I didn't realize that. That's cool.
Yeah, so even though like the filter lands all came out, they came out afterwards.
Interesting. All right, so we've got Graven Cairns, which is a filter land. It taps for generic mana, or you could pay a black or a red to add any combination of black, 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 red, or red, red.
Yeah.
So these are like, if you're, I guess, in these colors, is that how we're going to grade them? Or
depends on them. So one of them you will play if you're not in the colors.
Right.
I think some percentage of the time. Whereas most of them I would want to be. I think I want to be in both colors to play all but one.
So and I get to decide which one. I get to guess which one that is.
Do you want to guess? Yeah.
Horizon Canopy.
Yeah. I'd play any green and any white deck will play it, and like the life does matter. So maybe you don't play it off color, but you still could, and it like I probably would. I think I would play that in every single deck.
The thing about these cards, I think, save for Horizon Canopy also is that you're picking the bounce lands over them.
I don't know if I'd pick a bounce land over Horizon Canopy.
That's why I said save for Horizon Canopy.
Yeah. Yes, I would definitely take the bounce lands over all of them.
Yes. So if you're in black-red already, you're going to grab Graven Cairns, but it's not a pull into that for any stretch. Like, it's probably like a C in a black-red deck, a C plus in a black-red deck.
Yep. I think they're all just Cs.
And Horizon Canopy is like a B. B plus.
Yeah. I would put Canopy at B plus.
Okay. All right, and I think
awesome.
No mythic lands. Awesome, dude. Thank you so much for doing this.
For sure, it was a lot of fun. It fit into my schedule perfectly.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. And thank you all very much for tuning in on the YouTubes.